Welcome to another episode of Design+Style, a podcast for designers, by designers, with co-host Dixie Willard of Dixie Willard Design and Rachel Moriarty of Rachel Moriarty Interiors. The Design+Style podcast is brought to you by the Design+Style Visibility Lab. The Visibility Lab is the only membership group that focuses on the latest strategies and tools to help you get more visible while showcasing your specific brilliance. We've got weekly online office hours with both of us, monthly topics, in-depth worksheets, and exclusive monthly trainings.
I'm so excited to talk to Leslie today.
I know. She and I have kind of been chiming in on things similarly in a bunch of different places, so I can't wait to hear what she has to say, because I think some of the things that I believe as far as, well, and you're right there with me, you have to roll with it when life changes.
Yes.
I think that she is going to have something to say about that.
Yes. I know that whatever she says, she's going to be bringing valuable tips.
Yeah.
Because just being in her group, I wake up every day and she has these fabulous tips.
Mm-hmm.
I really admire her. I love the work that she puts out. I'm really looking forward to it. I met her briefly at the Design Bloggers Conference, so I got to talk to her and have face-to-face, but she was one of the sponsors, and every time she had her, her booth had those beautiful magazine covers,
Mm-hmm.
that they do for Savor Partnership, and so every time I went over there, and of course it had the tagline, "Make money in your sleep," or something like that, something really catchy.
Uh-huh.
Every time I looked over, her booth was packed.
Oh,
So I didn't get to spend any quality time. So I'm really, really looking forward to recording her on the podcast and getting to know her better.
Well, this is going to be great.
I know. Let's go do it.
Savor Partnership co-founder Leslie Carothers pioneered the use of social media and influencer marketing within the furniture and interior design industry. Prior to starting her main business, the Kaleidoscope Partnership, 16 years ago, she was a luxury interior designer herself for 16 years in Houston, Texas. Because of her company's work these past 16 years with manufacturers, retailers, interior designers, publishers, and software providers, she has an in-depth strategic understanding of all the issues that face the different segments of our industry today and how the dots need to connect in order to help each industry segment move forward together in a productive and sustainable way. Last year, Leslie started a second business, Savor Partnership, with Sam Henderson, the writer of HGTV's weekly Design Trends column, and one of our country's most well-respected online visual content creators. Together, they help designers position themselves to build their email lists to generate additional revenue from their websites in the short term, while building sellable media assets in the long term.
I think it's so important to know that whole background, that whole wealth of experience you have.
And the thing is, you have the thread through it that is so important that so many designers just don't get, which is you have to evolve. You have to adapt. You cannot stay in the same exact business model that you are right now for the next 20 years.
I've seen the power that great design has to change a life. I've heard it in my own ears many times. And so it's not about that design is ever going to go away. It's just about repositioning your own website or your own business model to let the consumer access you in the way that they need to access you now.
Yes.
And that's what I strongly believe. I don't think anything's going away. It's just you have to reposition yourself,
Right.
And if you're in your 40s, you guys are young, but if you're in your 40s, you may not have done that for a while. So it's tough. No one likes to change. I don't like to change. Here I am on a podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I first started back in 2008, this part of my business, the social media part, which has now been for the past 9 years, that I've started this piece of the Kaleidoscope Partnership, I started seeing this thing called social media bubble up. And I'm like, and that's when our industry was in the toilet.
Right.
So I saw Twitter and I'm like, this is so interesting because it's B2C and B2B at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
If I can help everybody I know offline get connected online, we all together will have a voice of the consumer that's free. Consumers were coming in droves to Twitter at that point. They saw all these conversations happening. And it was a free marketing tool for our industry at a time when it desperately really needed something free, because everybody was letting their marketing departments go on the manufacturing end because they couldn't afford to keep them. Everybody, probably 4 years into it, like everybody's eyes were opening, like, okay,
Yep.
and then really, from my business perspective, I stopped working as much on the brand or manufacturing side because they were starting to bring people in-house at that point,
Yeah.
because they saw that it was going to be a permanent situation.
You were talking about your Twitter following, and I so appreciated when I was at Las Vegas Market, you connecting me. I loved how you showed in action in real time. You had somebody that you wanted me, that you loved and followed, that you thought would be perfect for me to meet. And I would have never made my way over to those pavilions. And especially she happened to be like in the last one, like back in a corner, and it was just so cool how you did that. And probably within that hour of you doing that, I was there with that person. Like, it's pretty amazing how you can connect people. You sitting in Texas, and you're just like, and we're over in Las Vegas and you're connecting us, so that was amazing.
That's the Kaleidoscope partnership. It's about understanding how to use social media really, really, really well in order to connect the dots to produce an action. Really, at the end of the day, just from a business standpoint, that is what it's about. How can you connect those dots, or any of us connect a dot to produce a result? And you carried Flat Dixie right over there, so that was great visibility for you all. To the manufacturer's total credit, they posted a picture on Instagram. It was it was exactly how it really should work.
Yeah.
One person reaches out, another person takes an action. The manufacturer, takes another action that brings you visibility on their feed. It's exactly how the circle should work. And not every manufacturer realizes that. And I will say this for every designer out there listening, from the manufacturer standpoint, of course, they want to post really beautiful images on their Instagram feed. So you may think, gee, I'm using their product in a design, they're going to post my image, but they do have to curate that carefully because they do also have an image to project as well. So don't be hurt if they don't post an image of yours on their Instagram feed when you tag them in a post. They have to be careful. One company does a very good job of doing this is Curry and Company and Bernhardt. So Curry, what they do that I think is wonderful is they collect the images that they've been tagged in for a week, and then they'll post them in just one post, but a scroll on Instagram.
I love that.
A swipe on Instagram. So you can just swipe through like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, however many different times they've been tagged, and everybody's up, but only in one picture on the cover, if you will, of that swipe. And I think it's a super great idea for manufacturer.
That's brilliant.
You get right, Dixie?
I'm getting some ideas for Flat Dixie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, exactly. Anybody that has anything like that, can, if someone's tagging them, they can put one cool image on the cover and then just have a swipe with everywhere else that Dixie's gone, so that would be a lot of fun.
That's a great tip.
Great idea. And actually, I think that could actually work for some designers depending on their business model.
Natalie Riddell, obviously,
of course,
Commander in Chic.
Yes.
Natalie's doing that, brilliantly with I don't know if she's thought of this, but Natalie, if you're watching, she has her golden hashtag. So she takes that around to different showrooms, very similar to the Flat Dixie meme. And, so if people were to use that, if they were to take her golden hashtag and, she could then, have a swipe of every place that her golden hashtag has been.
Like at
other
Market.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you want to really do, what you've done brilliantly, Dixie, is to extend that meme to other people and offer that to them so they can then spread your brand. So that's an amazing visibility tool that you've created for yourself and super impressive to me.
I love that.
Yeah, it's just so much fun and so cute and just fun and such a cool little social media thing to do. I thought it was just so brilliant, really, on your part. Yeah. But I want to say on visibility, so a couple of quick things to everybody that's watching. One thing is, number one is the thing that people care most about is your story. So make sure you have one. know how to share that appropriately, because if there's anything I took away from this year's DBC conference, which you all saw me post in my group, it's the power of the personal. So everybody wants to know that backstory, and even think about The Voice right now, if you're watching that, or American Idol, if you're watching Katy Perry do her incredible thing. You know, it's all about the backstory of these singers. That's what we all as Americans are like, just like, who are they? You know, how can we get behind them? Do we want to get behind them? And so I think that that backstory is really important as far as visibility. Whatever yours is, just tell it, and the right people will find you that it resonates with. And the second thing, for everybody that's brand new out there, you know, the fear of being visible is, and I know you had this fear, Dixie, originally, because you said that in your stories, but it's about judgment, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. So, you know, and really what I hope all of you that are new will realize is that the person that's judging is you. That fear of judgment is just in the voices in your head, because people do want you to succeed out there. Like everybody, we're in a time when really, especially in our industry, you know, we're really trying to help each other succeed. I think we all see that. It wasn't always that way, but it definitely is now. And there's really more than enough to go around. And the difference between those who succeed really isn't about whether they're prettier, younger, or older. It's about really consistent execution on whatever it is you're doing. So that's really what it is. So it's not that, you know, you, Dixie, are better, or Rachel, you're better, or I'm better, or anybody's better. It's just who's doing it the most often and the most consistently, and hopefully with some level of, you know, thinking behind it, you know, as to what the outcome is. So, and really building visibility is built about building a brand so that people know you and that other opportunities can come your way. You know, I've spoken a lot. But the first thing that I did actually when I really started my business 16 years ago was I joined a group in the furniture industry called Women in the Home Industries Today. It's called withit.org. And that group has definitely morphed and changed a lot over the years. But I was young. I had been doing my thing, but I didn't know anybody overall in the industry 16 years ago, very few. And that, the woman who actually was the executive director of that, her name is Sarah Like, and she opened up a world to me. That was my first High Point market 16 years ago, and she just made some great introductions for me to other group With It members, and a few of those ended up mentoring me. One of them invited me to speak. One of them invited me to write an article. I can't even tell you how excited I was when I had a chance to write my first article. I remember that like yesterday. It was just this tiny little article in a tiny little trade magazine. It was like, oh my God, someone wanted me to write something for them. I'm so excited. And then, you know, it just kind of blossomed from there. I started getting asked to speak more often. I have, you wouldn't know that now because I'm not, I don't do that as much, but I did speak a lot at many different High Point markets. I keynoted for the Antique and Design Center there, and several years in a row, and just did a lot of speaking in High Point. I keynoted High Point University's first social media symposium for the furniture industry, and I keynoted the Interior Design Society's National Convention in Las Vegas a few years back, and I've spoke at the Design Bloggers Conference, and, you know, spoke at the Bold Summit this year. So there's been, you know, over the years, you're going to develop lots of different opportunities to speak, but I would definitely encourage you to take those opportunities. Even if you're not the best speaker in the world, if you know something that other people need to know, they're going to want to hear it from you. So don't be afraid to speak. And if you want to speak, but you are afraid, the best tip I could give you is just to let your audience know ahead of time that you're afraid. You know, and just say to them, oh my God, I'm so nervous, bear with me, you all.
Yeah.
And really that relieves your tension and relieves their tension because they can feel it. And really, once you do that, if you know what you're talking about, even if it's not perfect, they're going to know that. And if they can get something out of it that they need, they're going to just love you. And that's exactly for me what happened. The first time I ever spoke, I was just nervous as hell, to be honest. I was dying. Inside. And I just said, I've got to say something. I can't even breathe. And when I did, I was then able to breathe. Yes. And the audience afterwards came up to me, and I mean, I can't even tell you, it was beyond my truly wildest dreams at that moment, and that's many years ago now. and then it's led to, many different things. And most of you know that are watching, but I'm 95% deaf. I lost my hearing when I was 19, and I wear hearing aids. And so, even that, I was determined not to let that stop me from having a public speaking career for some portion of my business. So, and it hasn't. So even if you have some type of handicap or whatever, don't let that stop you either. Just, keep going forward, because it's really what's in your heart and what's in your mind that people want to hear. And if you have something that's to offer, then you're not ever going to have a problem being visible. And as far as writing, if you like to write, that, there's a million opportunities out there now, right? Everybody's looking for content.
Yeah.
So, to guest post on a blog, no problem. I mean, this is so different than when I first started, so different.
Yeah.
But now you can just guest post away, and everybody is needing that content. So it's just amazing. Same with video content. Just make sure it's not too ego based, that you actually want to or are working on that to accomplish something. And things you can accomplish would be, you have a chance to speak, you have a chance to be on a panel, you have a chance to do a show house room, you have a chance to write a book, have a license line. But I really want to say all of those things are great. So they help you build your brand. But at the end of the day, what is it that you can do that helps bring you money? So I want to get back to the meat of, why I am doing what I'm doing now with Sam, and what I really believe everybody should be doing, because all of this stuff that's helping you, but also helping other people, is not actually helping you make money today, right? The only way you can invest your time to make money today is on your own platform, owning your own assets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So not even doing design work, that's actually not building a true sellable business asset, because it requires you to be the rainmaker. And even like me, you have to keep finding client after client after client. So you finish with one, and yes, it's cash flow, but it's not actually building a sellable business asset unless you layer in some kind of revenue system in there that produces revenue for you, whether you're the rainmaker or not. And passive income it's just a term, but it's a little bit misleading. It all takes time to create all of this and manage all of it. But the thing about assets that live on your own website, like your courses and these types of things, are that you don't actually have to be there for someone to buy one. Right. They can live on your site with a button, and someone can buy it while you're sleeping. So, our tagline, make money while you sleep, it's true. You actually can do that.
Yeah.
When you have either, and the other thing I want to make clear is that there are many levels of income that you can layer in as a designer to your website. So the easiest one is affiliate product links. And if you don't know what that is, it's simply a link that goes out to a product that you put on any part of your website, and where if someone clicks on it, you make a commission. Those commissions are usually in the range of 5 to 7%, depending on the product. So that's just kind of what it is. Now you're thinking, oh, I just made $5, like, oh my God, that's nothing. Well, here's the thing. If you layer those in all over your website, into all of your different products on your website, and you drive the traffic to that, and you do this over the next 5 or 10 years, you're going to make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But it takes time, and it takes that commitment to driving the traffic over to your website.
I love that you mentioned that, because that's the thing that I think people forget. They put an affiliate link in and they're like, okay, bring me the money.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting. Where's my money? Let people know that it's there. Maybe put a lot of them, not just one.
Yeah.
We
love our gift guides or our creative entrepreneur guides, where we can, like we just did a spring one, we did one over the holidays, and I love seeing those affiliate payments in our account. Yeah. To me, it makes me so happy, because we would have done that gift guide anyway.
Exactly. So that's the truth. It takes a little time to manage, but the affiliate product links probably take the least time to manage. They take some time, but the least time. That is just one tiny piece of an overall strategy to employ on your website to make passive income. So just the next piece of that would be ebooks, which are very lucrative. Maria Killam is a great example. These can sell for $25 on your website. They also can be then layered in not only with affiliate product links, but also links back to your blog, links to your videos, links to your online courses. So every product that we produce as Savor Partnership that lives on your site can be layered in with the other products on your site. So this is something that people lose sight of. It's like not just an ebook, it's this thing that has all the other links in it. And when you layer in a series of those to an entire website, then you have a money machine if you are committed to driving the traffic to it. And on that piece of it, you know, the number one thing I want to leave everybody with or tell everybody is you must have a Pinterest strategy and rich pin strategy. So again, there's a lot of info in our group about rich pins, but beyond that, you must have your own email list. So you all know that, you know, Sam and I were on Luann's podcast when we first started this business and talking about that, but it's a good one to listen to as well. And I feel like gotta build your email list, guys. You know, that's your goal. You own that. So at the end of your business career, as your design career, when you go to sell your business, what's an investor looking at? And whether that's your own employees even, or whether that's an outside investor, they're going to be looking at the size of that email list and how active it is, because that is a true sellable asset for you that has an actual value. So I would really focus on building that. And secondly, they're going to be looking at what does your business have that generates revenue 24/7 that won't require you to be there. So certainly an outside investor would be looking at that. And you can sell your business on a multiple of earnings. So if you have an online magazine or a series of ebooks or a series of online courses, you know, whatever floats your boat. These are the things that produce revenue 24/7, and within those things can be layered the other things that produce revenue. So it is this like a house, right? We all layer all these things, you know, texture. So all of your online products can be layered within each other to produce income for you. So this is what Sam and I are helping you all do. Definitely takes a little money, but it's not, in general, the nice thing about the money piece is it's once you do it, unless you update it, you don't have to keep doing it over and over and over again. So it is not something you have to pay a monthly retainer to maintain it. You do need to have a Pinterest strategy to drive the traffic. But again, keep in mind, Pinterest can change anything. So you don't own that. So you can't really always necessarily depend on Pinterest. So this is why you want to have your own e-newsletter. So the keys, really, your site, your email list, your blog, and your e-newsletter. Those are 4 things, and the only 4 things of all of us do online that you all actually own. As a designer, you sell product and you're used to making your money on that markup and that margin, and you should continue to try and make as much money on that as you possibly can. You know, why not? For as long as that gravy train is going to last, great. But every manufacturer in the world is currently able to sell everything online, direct to consumer. Right? So they don't want to disrupt their distribution channel. They don't want to hurt designers. They don't want to hurt retailers. How do you communicate your values so beautifully, so well, so efficiently that the homeowner is willing to pay a premium to work with you, even though they can buy that product on Amazon? I just want to say that it is very important for designers to think very strategically about how they can position themselves online in order to communicate their value proposition ever more succinctly. And to me, that really means breaking down, like you all know what you do every single day, right? You know exactly that, to order a piece of furniture, what does that really mean? Okay, is the fabric going to be railroaded? Is it going to be not railroaded? What's it going to look like in the light? What does railroading even mean? Are there 2 dye lots? Are there not 2 dye lots? If I need 10 yards, is it coming from 2 dye lots? So I have to worry about that dye lot. If it's coming from 1 dye lot, great, but does my client have to order extra fabric in case their dog eats the end of the sofa and they need more? Then what about shipping? When's it going to ship? Okay, so who am I talking to at the manufacturer? How am I tracking this, right? How is the shipping going to happen? Is it going to get dropped off at their door? Is it going to get delivered in the door? How does the deluxing happen? These terms I'm using, consumers in general are not familiar with that, and they don't want to handle that stuff. It really entails creating a product procurement service and explaining in detail to the consumer so it's not about the product, it's about what happens after you actually buy the product. So that piece, I feel, is a huge, explaining that very carefully on your website is a huge way to attract a client, understanding the value that a designer brings when they're actually, procuring the product. There's so much more to it than you just have any idea about. And this is, to me, the value that designers bring. In addition, and I've said it a lot online, I feel that on your own websites, let's say you're creating a shop to look board, with affiliate product links in there. So when you go out to XYZ site, manufacturer site that has an affiliate program, a lot of times they have a finder on the side where you can choose the manufacturer and then filter, like filters, right? On the side, filter by price, filter by color, filter by style, blah, blah, blah. You as a consumer would never know which manufacturer is better than another by looking at that.
Right.
It's only a designer who has all of that information about those resources and who has been touching and feeling all of those lines forever, that would actually really know which manufacturer is better than another, which one offers customer service versus another, which one is going to last, what the warranties are. So there's so many layers that a designer knows that if you're watching this as a homeowner or consumer, it's not that you can't learn it, obviously, but it's just something it would take you, a lifetime to learn that. When a designer can go there and they can say, oh, bingo, that light from that manufacturer for that price, that's a great choice, not only from the look, but the function, but the customer service and the warranty aspect. So these are things, to me, that designers, and if you're watching this as a designer, that you bring to the table, this ability to curate for the consumer. And when I really believe you should start curating these things on your site, whether you have a shop on your site and by the way, I do have to say, I just wrote a post in our group, but it's on our Savor Partnership blog, that Instagram has now made their feeds shoppable for all businesses.
Yeah.
Yes, shoppable. Yeah. So to me, this is a primo opportunity, for designers, because you all know what is a better product than another. So it's about this curation that I think is really important. And so it's not about the price. It's not about trying to sell a consumer something that's more expensive. It's about trying to sell them the best value for what the item is. And I feel designers need to, if you're a designer watching this, I feel like that should be the focus of the conversation. It's not like this is cheapest or I can get a better deal on this. So those aren't the things that are truly important when it comes to a homeowner's home. It's the things that are truly important are, material, sustainability, what wellness aspects are built into that particular thing or particular product. To me, the warranty is important. Is it going to last? If I am going to spend a little bit more, then am I going to get a warranty that, warrants that investment? So these are the things that you all as designers have the opportunity to communicate, that I think in most cases on most websites that I look at are not communicated in any way whatsoever. So I feel like there's a big opportunity here to sort of rewrite your websites in a way that communicates the specifics so that consumers understand better.
We are going to put a link in the show notes. If you don't know where the show notes are, head over to designandstylepodcast.com. Make sure you click on the podcast button once you're there. And in the show notes for this episode, we will have a link so that you can sign up for a PDF that has all of Leslie's tips, all of the great tips that she has. It's going to be beautiful. It's not ready yet because we kind of sprung it on her and said, hey, would it be great if you could do this? So it'll be a few days. So what we're going to do is you can just sign up, put your email address in, and then it'll come straight to you whenever it is ready.
I'm going to sign up for that too, because I want to hear all about it. Exactly. I want Leslie's top tips. So good. We'll see you next time.
This podcast was made possible in part through the support of our preferred partners, like the Design Network. The Design Network offers one of the most powerful to-the-trade e-commerce programs in the furniture industry, combining the top brands in furniture, the best prices, and unparalleled logistics all in one place. Go to www.thedesignnetwork.com to join the Design Network's Trade Direct program, create your designer profile, Connect with new clients and start shopping today.